Shoot, and then man, finally back from Trinidad. It's great to be back, getting back to work, and I got to get these videos out more often. But there go another beast. Damn, Beast is coming in deep tonight. Carl from Beast in here. You know what I mean? All the brothers and sisters in Beast is here. But the trip to Trinidad. Trinidad was cool, man. This was my first time ever leaving the country. It was cool. It's a good little experience, man. I think y'all should definitely go, man. I'll say this one thing, like my first thing for coming back, he said, not saying all agendas are bad, it depends. Yeah, but my first day coming back, I will say this. It's crazy. As soon as I came back here to San Diego, the first thing I noticed, like you notice white people are so noticeable when you come from places where they're not. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no white people in Trinidad. And it's the crazy part because they took us all around through Trinidad. And when you go, like we drive, when you go like closer to, there's like a beach and this golf course and all this different spots. And you go and you look and they're like showing us around. And he's like, yeah, so if you look up here where all these gates and all of that is, that's where all the white folks is. And you see these gates over here, that's where all the white folks is. It's like white folks is funny. Everywhere they go, they do the same thing. They go, they hoard all, you know, their little wealth and what they're doing. And they somewhere behind lock and key behind the gate, and they say, yeah, and the dude was telling us, he's like, and if you there and you know you black and you there for like any period of time, security gonna come harassing you and everything. So I'm like, it's just funny to me how you see them doing some of the same stuff there that pretty much, you know, they do the same stuff everywhere. You know what I mean? But the one interesting thing about Trinidad. In Trinidad, there's two main groups in Trinidad. There's black folks and there's Indian people. You know what I mean? Indian as in from, you know, India, like Dots Indians. And a lot of I was going around because I was staying in Port of Spain, and then we went to the island of Tobago for 2 days. If you go to Trinidad, make sure you spend at least 2 days in Tobago. If you ever end up going to Trinidad, go spend 2 days in Tobago. And yeah, just make sure you spend a couple days there because Tobago's off the chain. Especially, man, hit me if y'all are listening and you you end up going to Trinidad. Definitely hit me up. When you go around, you see, I was looking at a lot of the businesses and who owns a lot of the businesses. A lot of the workers, pretty much all the workers that I saw were black folks. You know what I mean? And then one thing too, a lot of people don't know about Trinidad is that Trinidad is actually, when you look at GDP as far as how much a country produces, gross domestic product, there's the United States, and as far as North and South America, there's the United States, there's Canada, and then there's Trinidad. Okay, and I believe that's per capita. But either way, Trinidad they got money down there. You know what I'm saying? As far as a country. One thing I noticed walking around Trinidad, especially downtown, I didn't see, again, I don't know where y'all watching from San Diego. When you go downtown, you see a bunch of homeless people, all of that kind of stuff, like a bunch of people begging. You see people begging when you get off the highway. You see people homeless with tents and all that set up. I didn't see all that. And I remember I was asking the dude that was driving us around and everything, and a couple people there, and he was like, yeah, it's here, but you just don't see it as much. I only had that whole time I had one person ask me for some change, only one. I can't spend a few days in America without people everywhere basically asking you for change and doing these different things. You're seeing homeless people. That's just something I did notice. It was one dude, yeah, I mean, he looked like he was like a dope fiend, but even he was hustling. You know what I mean? He knocking coconuts off the thing and going and cutting up coconuts with a machete, getting his little hustle on and not begging for change. I didn't see that. One thing too, a lot, because this is my first time leaving the country. So when I went to a lot of places, or if people talk about how they go a lot of places, you know, and they show Americans a lot of love, especially black Americans, because they say our culture impacts them. We're going to talk about that in a second. But I'll say this, it wasn't like a lot of, like nobody was really tripping because I was with like 6 people. You know what I mean? My best friend, his wife actually planned a surprise trip, like behind his back, got his pops, got some of his friends, planned a surprise trip, and we all went up there together like as family. So when we went out, we're clearly Americans, especially after you hear us talk, even though, a lot of the people in Trinidad are like my color. But, we're clearly Americans when you hear us talk. But it wasn't like a lot of like, oh, man, you from America? Nobody really ever asked us, or even when they would know clearly, they wouldn't ask us. You know what I mean? So that, that was just something interesting and different that I was, I'm just used to that thought, like, oh yeah, when you go somewhere, you're gonna get this super love because you're American, and it didn't really go down like that. In Port of Spain, because I told y'all about Tobago a second ago. In Tobago, the people, like when you go to the stores and everything and you go to eat, the people are really nice, and everybody's cool. It's kind of like that vibe and that aura you get when you go to like a average business here where people are greeting you and they're nice and those things. But in Port of Spain, the people, like the workers, bruh, it'll throw you off because the way they be acting, like you be like ready to fight or slap somebody. Like the way they be treating you, like I think I remember my homeboy had went back to like get a refill on his drink or something, or like, oh no, this is the wrong drink. It's like, oh yeah, sorry, this is the wrong drink too. Like, snatch it out his hand, and like you ask people questions and they be looking at you like you're crazy. Now I ran into a brother. We actually had called a taxi, and one of the brothers that we happened to call was from South Central. You know what I mean? He was an American. He was actually from LA, and he was telling us, he was like, yeah, bro, it's just not. He was like, it's like a violent town. You know what I mean? So people are to their self, because the place we were staying on Ganji Avenue, Port of Spain, right off of Eastern Main Road. If you know Trinidad, you know where I'm talking about. But basically, we were staying in the hood. Now, the people we were staying with, at first we didn't know it was the hood. But when we had called that brother up, because the people we were staying with, they couldn't, the people we were staying with could not take us at the time, because the person they were giving rides was gone, and the dude had came to pick us up, and he was like, it was taking him a minute. We like, yeah, we over here, and he didn't come. And we had walked out. He was like, you know what, to help you find it, we're just gonna walk out to this main street or whatever. And he was like, okay, that's cool. And when we got to the car, he was like, yeah, bro, ain't nobody going in there. Where y'all at? He was like, nobody's going in there. He was like, because he's a Cali dude, so he speaking in terms of gangs, but he's like, yeah, that's the turf right there, and right across the street down here to the left, that's like the other turf, and they get into it with each other. And where y'all at, they'll set people up in those little tight corners where y'all going. People get set up, so he was like, if you call in any service, just know that they not coming in there. I was like, okay, that's crazy. And so he's saying that because of that, that's why you get that vibe, of people saying like, hey, they're not all friendly, they're not doing that, you know what I mean? So you just got to pretty much adjust to that, you know what I mean? Because you're gonna get into it with somebody, and you don't want to be getting into it with nobody out there. But it was like that in Port of Spain. You know what I mean? Port of Spain, which is a city, I think it's the capital, but it wasn't like that in Tobago. But I had posted about it. The sisters the sisters is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you go out. And the biggest thing, because the sisters in the States is beautiful too. Don't get that twisted. But the biggest thing is, like I said, the hairstyles. They got all kind of natural hairstyles, and it's like pretty much 80%, 85% natural hairstyles. Every now and then you'll see like a short, like straightened, like to the side or something. What could be a wig or something like that, but I pretty much didn't really see any weaves or wigs or anything like that. And when I thought I seen one, it was some American sisters down there with us. You know what I mean? But other than that, it was cool. Like we went out to, and like I said, I don't know if y'all checked out my snaps, but like we went to some clubs and everything when we was there. It's great. They dress like us. Like and it's everybody's been telling me that everywhere. They say like everywhere around the world you go, they dress like us. But they got like the t-shirts, the jeans. They got the Jordans. You know what I'm saying? The dude in front of me in line had the Gamma Jordan, the Gamma 12s. They got all them different things. They got the different music though. They do bump more dance hall than we bump. They got they do this whole thing where like we was in a club. And the brother, it was a brother that was there. I think he was like a performer. He was a rapper or something. And he would rap, right? And then he would go and he would pull a sister out the crowd. And then she would go up and like twerk in front of everybody. And he would just keep doing it. And it was like every time he would do it, every sister was like pretty much understood that it was about to be their turn to do it. You know what I'm saying? So it was dope how they did it. And then when the sister was really good, or she looked really good, and I got the film on that too. I'm gonna have to post that up. Like some people was like throwing money, but it wasn't like, it was like everybody kind of understood what they was doing. So what else was out there, man? Trinidad and Tobago. That beach is crazy. It was crazy being in Tobago and being on the water. The water is like 2 feet deep, but you'll be miles out and the water will be 2 feet deep. It's dope. Like if you go to Tobago, you want to get a coral reef. tour, because what they do is they'll take you out, and there's like a boat. You know, it's like the size of your living room, the boat is. And you can stand on top of the boat, or you can sit on the bottom of the boat, and they have glass at the bottom of the boat where you can see the fish and the coral reefs and everything under it. And you go way out into the sea, and because it's only like 2 feet deep, you can see the fish and everything that's under the water. And then they can drop the anchor while you're out there, and then you can you pretty much swim around. Like they had some rosters running around with jet skis, and they stopped, gave us a jet ski, and we paid, you know what I mean? And we just posted up in the middle. It looks like the middle of the ocean, you know what I'm saying? But you step out, and you're only your knee deep in water. You know what I'm saying? You got to get down and get all the way in the water. So, I mean, that was fly. What else, man? What else about Trinidad? Soca music. So I've been listening to some soca music, man. I actually know somebody from Trinidad that's been putting me up on that, and I never really listened to it, but it's different when you go out there. So that was another thing about it. The Trini food. Oh, that was a thing too. So there was a sister, we booked our place. I meant to give y'all a Facebook Live tour of our place, but we booked our place through TripAdvisor. And the good thing about how we booked it, the sister that we booked it with, she was, from Trinidad herself. She lived in New York, but she was from Trinidad herself, and she was cooking food for us every night. So even though sometimes we wouldn't have the time because it wasn't completely planned out with places to eat, but she would be able to cook some food, and she would make some good Trini food. You know what I mean? And I had somebody like, oh, you need to eat this and this, and we could tell her, and she would cook it. She would cook different stuff, and she even cooked some jerk chicken. You know what I mean? Be careful about that too when you're out there asking for all the Jamaican stuff and you're talking to Trini people. You know what I mean? Because you might offend somebody. It was one sister was like kind of mad, like, I think we was in Tobago, and our taxi driver out there, they're like, oh, where can we get some jerk chicken? Like, I ain't gonna give you no damn jerk chicken. Y'all think everybody's Jamaican. Everybody ain't Jamaican. We don't even sound. It's just like people think that just because the Jamaicans are the first ones to go out, we don't even sound nothing like the Jamaicans. I'm sitting in my head because they speak with that they speak with that they call it patois. Like, oh, what go on, boy? You know, they speak English, but they speak like that. And she like, we don't sound nothing like no Jamaican. In my head, I'm like, shit, the hell you doing? But apparently, I don't know. I have to ask somebody else if they feel like they both sound like each other. But man, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if anybody had any questions or anything. That's a few people. If y'all had any questions about Trinidad, let me know. I done got this deep into a conversation about Trinidad and have not mentioned Carnival. So Carnival. That's one thing everybody's going to tell you. If you come to Trinidad in February, they got this big thing. It's called Carnival, where they go and they dress up. And I kind of talked about this. I got a live before this where I was in Trinidad on my bike riding around, and I kind of talked about it. But they have where they dress up, and they there's like these costume themes. The women are all like, most of them are like not really wearing a lot of clothes, and they kind of twerking and having fun, and everybody just lets their hair down and just parties. And it's called Carnival, and people come all around the world for Carnival. So that was one thing that everyone was saying to us, because they're like, bro, you're out here and you didn't even come for Carnival. You know what I mean? Like people, that don't even make no sense. You got to come back for Carnival. You know what I mean? And a lot of the locals are very proud of Carnival. People really love Carnival because it's just something that they've been doing for a long time. Like I was saying on the other live, the sister that I flew in with, she was an elder sister, and she was saying that, I'm gonna talk about that right now, Artie. But yeah, she was talking about how back in the day it was different with the Carnival. It was more focused on the theme. She was like, now it's just more focused on naked women and all these different things. And she, in her opinion, she thought that it came from the influence of them seeing what goes on in Brazil. You know what I mean? And pretty much picking up on what goes on in Brazil. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, now it's more kind of about that part. Now it's up to you whether you think it's good or not. You know what I mean? Now, Artie said, is there herb out there or nah? So the crazy thing about it, so the brother that we was riding with, the one that was from LA, he was kind of, a hustler back in the day. So he kind of knew some stuff. And he was saying that the crazy thing is in Trinidad, he said, because there's a lot of coke production out there, it's like a big thing. So there's a lot of coke production. He was like, coke is actually cheaper than weed in Trinidad. And he was like, it's harder for them to find weed, and they people bring it from different places. I think like Venezuela, which is right next to Venezuela. It's like right north of South America, and he was like, or Jamaica and places like that. And I don't smoke, but I had seen some stuff. The host, one of the people that was with us does smoke, and they plugged them with somebody around there, and the stuff I saw, it looked terrible. It was like brown looking. It is, I ain't no weed expert or nothing like that, but it was like all brown. It was real dense, but it was like real dry. You know what I'm saying? So I never thought to ask how it smoked to the people who did smoke it. Maybe I should ask them that, like, how did it smoke? But as far as like what we got here, if you thinking like, oh yeah, I'm on some Jamaican going to the Caribbean and you going to Trinidad, I don't know if we maybe didn't have the right weed man or something like that, but the stuff that we saw was looking trash. You know what I mean? And the crazy part is it's probably less of that there than it is other things that they can more freely produce. I would think they would be more freely able to produce that. But like the sister in Tobago was telling me that she said that was like, she was like, at least for the Tobago police, she was like, all they really do is smash people for blunts and stuff like that. She was like, that's all I really see them doing. So maybe that's a big deal to them, or maybe that's what they're doing. But yeah, that was pretty much what I could gather on that. It was a little expensive too. I seen, cause the dollar out there is 7 to 1. So you know, 7 Trinidad is like 1 American dollar. And I think they had to pay like 100, like the jet ski dudes that we had in Tobago that came to pick up in the jet ski. I guess he was able to, like, he was tipping too because the dude asked him. So when we went back to the shore, he had hooked him up with something. He gave him like 100 for like, you know what I mean? Like 100 TTs, which is $15 for like that much or something crazy, like real small. So, I mean, I don't know how that works. But yeah, man, I think that's really it. Thanks for listening, whoever listened, man. But yeah, so should you go out to Trinidad? I definitely think you should go out. If you go out, you should go out during Carnival in February. But I think it was good. We got to go out. We got a pretty good experience. You know, I had a whole lot of fun. I don't think I was there for 7 days. I don't think 7 days was necessary outside of Carnival time. Carnival time, I don't know. But if you go outside of Carnival time, I wouldn't even do that long. I mean, 4 days, you know, maybe 5 if you really like to be out that long. But I would say like 4 would have been straight for me. I could have spent a couple days in Tobago, came back, stayed in Trinidad enough to like go out. Because the clubs and all that don't start popping until like 1:30. 1 o'clock, 1:30. And at least when we were there, they were saying Thursday, but Thursday wasn't talking about nothing. It was Friday and Saturday it didn't really start popping until Friday and Saturday. But yeah, man. So that's it. I'm gonna get up off of here. Oh, Kelly in the house. Yeah, Kelly from Trinidad in the house. But yeah, hey, peace. Yeah, I wanted to go, man. That's the thing too. They got the Nation of Islam out there. I wanted to connect with them, but it didn't end up working out, man. But she was trying to get me connected with some people. But there's just so many things I can't sit and talk about everything, but generally that's some of the things that I picked up, because I didn't even talk about social, politically, you know, and culturally, you know, as far as ethnic groups and who seem to have the power and people's, you know, some of the things I got from talking to some of the people. I didn't really even talk about any of that, but I'll probably do another video